Welcome back. Today we're going to do a simple, easy landscape painting. We're going to start off with some black gesso. So I'm going to go ahead and coat this entire canvas with black gesso, and then we're going to go ahead and start doing trees and stuff. You want to cover the entire canvas. This is just straight black gesso. I just went ahead and poured it on the paper plate. I'm just painting the canvas. Nothing special, no extra treatment. I'll put a nice even coat on it. Gesso is an acrylic base, so it dries really fast. It also makes for a very nice foundation for your painting. Many artists start out by priming their canvas with gesso. A lot of times your canvas already comes primed with gesso, but sometimes you want to make it a smoother finish, or in this case, darker. And this is actually going to help for this particular painting to have a black background. There we go. So now we got to let it dry, and then we're going to go to phase 2. This painting is going to be a little bit different than normal. We're actually going to paint this part with a paper towel. We're still using gesso, and now we're actually using white gesso and maybe some black gesso. So grab your paper towel, scrunch it up, and we're just going to dab it in the white. And we're going to have a light source here. So we're going to start here and just dab it on. And then we're going to generate this way. Start here in the middle where it's the brightest. Like I said, start here in the middle where it's the brightest, and then move out, or else you end up with some. The gradation isn't quite as nice, but we could fix that. That's not a big deal. So again, start here and move out this way, and we want to cover this whole painting. kind of fun doing something different and not always working with the paintbrush. So it makes it a little bit more interesting. And it's pretty amazing what this ends up looking like when you're done. Right now it looks like a bunch of splotches. And again, you want to cover the whole canvas. So we initially started, whoops, there we go again. We initially started painting this with black gesso. So letting the black gesso dry, then go ahead and add in this white. See, now I could take a little bit of black if I want and fade this out a little. See, it's hard. I don't think you can make a mistake with this. Pretty simple. Right. Put a little bit more up through here. And just putting a little on at a time like this actually dries really fast. Okay, so now I'm going to grab what they call a dagger brush. So if you can see that, it's kind of lower one end. It's actually really thin as well, so it's nice for making trees. We're going to take the black and white gesso and mix it together and make some grays. And we'll just put some trees up through here. A lot of this is going to be covered over, but basically we just want to get some structure in here. I want this to show a little bit better, so I'm going to add some white gesso to it. Just take it all the way through. And this one I want to be darker. So let's do this. So the lighter it is, the further back it is. The darker it is, the closer up it is. So if you want your tree to be nice and close, make it darker. So just keep doing that until you get it the way you like. And now, we're going to take a smaller brush, this little guy right here. So it's just a fine brush, and we're going to go ahead and make some branches. Just any way you want. Run these through the page, or the canvas. Use your variation between the light and dark gesso. That way it shows up. And keep doing that until you get it to where you like. And then we're going to go on to the next step. We're going to add a path through here too. So let's go ahead and we can start out by taking a little of the white gesso and just run it through here. And through here we're going to have some highlights. You use your variation between the dark and the light gesso to show shadow effect and brightness. Make this kind of dark, this lighter. Now since this is acrylic base, it's going to dry darker. Keep that in mind when you put on your gesso. If you want it to be lighter, you'll have to go pretty bright. If you want it to be darker, it will turn darker automatically. Just how dark you want it. And sometimes you just have to let it dry to get an idea where you're at. But the nice part with this is it dries so fast. Just acrylic base. Makes it easy to actually manipulate. So kind of just scrubbing it in here for the highlights. Okay. Keep working with this until you get it where you want it. And you can actually add as much detail or as less detail to this as you want. Once you get it to the stage you're happy with, let it dry completely. And then you want to go ahead and take some linseed oil and a clean dry brush and just coat your entire canvas with it. The linseed oil I'm using is Winsor & Newton. You find this at Michael's. Paint it on and give it a nice slick coat. Want to make sure you have the entire canvas. Go vertical, horizontal, make it nice and smooth. and then gently take a paper towel and go over it to wipe off any excess. Just want a thin coat on there. I'm making this nice and flat. Want to be careful not to have your paper towel rub into it where it leaves paper towel particles. Okay. Now we're ready. So right now on my palette, I have titanium white, phthalo blue, and Prussian blue. Prussian blue is a lot darker than phthalo blue. We're going to start off with a little phthalo blue on the corner of the 2-inch brush. Phthalo blue is also transparent, so when you put it on, you can actually still see all the stuff behind it. So we'll start with the corners. And because of the linseed oil, this goes on really smooth. Now you're adding color to your painting just like that. Very nice, easy painting with a very cool effect. It's actually very simple to achieve. On a nice smooth finish. If you see any paint strokes or paintbrush strokes in there, make sure you get them out. Perfect. And now in the corners, right up here, right through here, we want it to be a little darker. So now we're going to go through the Prussian blue, and again just a little bit, and put it up through the corner. And this will draw your eye inward, but it also makes the bright brighter. So again, the lightest stuff in your painting is going to be closer, the darker will be further away. Actually, no, let's do that the other way around. So yeah, like this tree right here is actually black and it looks closer. So the darkness will actually bring it closer, and a lot of times you want your foreground to be dark. The background you want to be lighter because you don't see a whole lot of stuff, plus there's a lot of atmosphere between, say, like the front and all the way in the very back. So it gets lighter. Now I'm going to take a 1-inch brush and a slight bit of the titanium white, and we're going to start right through here. This is the light source. Now titanium white isn't so transparent. In fact, it's not transparent. So when you put it on, you're going to notice a lot of the stuff disappear. So you want to be careful with how much you use, and you want to use it sparingly here, but you want to put it right in the right spot. So we're going to have it make it look like the light glow is coming from this direction. And again, the oil on the canvas is still making this nice and slick. So it makes it very easy to smooth this out. Not too much, we'll do just the opposite. Now we're going to do some light rays. Just tap it in. Lightly brush over top. You can take a 2-inch brush, make sure it's clean, and blend these a little better. A little more right through here. Fun stuff. Told you it was going to be a fun painting. So now we're going to do the pathway. So we're going to take a little titanium white and a little yellow ochre and mix the two together with a light brown, a little bit more. And take a small brush. We're just going to go ahead and scrub this in. Just going to put a little bit in here. Add a little extra color. Small 1-inch brush. Just going to blend this. Now we're going to mix up a green. So we're going to take a little yellow. This is cad yellow. And a little bit of phthalo blue. And mix this up. Enough paint to work with here. And again, take the 1-inch brush. Just going to make some grassy areas. Make it much darker through here. Make it darker by adding more phthalo blue. And to highlight it, go to your cad yellow, just tap in a couple sections. Put some little bushes in there. I'll mix a little titanium white. I thinned it down with a little bit of thinner. And now we could go ahead and with a fan brush, I'm going to add a little extra texture. Be really careful with how much you put on so you don't take away from the painting. Remember, these are just highlights to help give it shape. Remember, light's shining through and it's hitting some of the shrubbery, which is actually making it kind of glow here. So that's what we kind of want to represent. you could go in and fine tune and get it exactly the way you want. Add some shadow to these bushes. More highlight. And I think we're done.